Most of us start to think about buying our own house when we start earning money. But as beginners to buying a property, most of us tend to make tragic mistakes. There are many tips to be read and watched on the internet, but I would love to give some tips and recommendations so you do not end up making these mistakes over and over again. Hello and welcome to Financial Fluence. In this video, I'll go over 5 critical mistakes that a home buyer should avoid. Let's now get going. Number 1, you should not and never let the seller handle the repairs. Ask for credit instead. The seller is not and never will be focused and determined to find the best person or firm with the best insurance coverage. The seller cares more about finding the least expensive repair person who can do the job right away. So, instead of letting the seller handle the repair and entrusting them with the house you're looking forward to being your long-term home, ask for credit and handle the repairs on your own. So you can look for the best repairman or company with the best insurance without worrying about how safe and long-lasting your future home will be. It is in your best long-term interest to have everything done to your specifications because you will be able to select the most cost-effective company and perform the service contract expiry within its duration of service. Again, you are the one who is supposed to handle the repairs, not the seller. Number 2, do not sign the final paperwork without performing a last walkthrough. Sign the paper immediately after the walkthrough instead. The reason for all of this is that something catastrophic could possibly occur, such as the target house burning down, or something less catastrophic but still incredibly awful could possibly occur, such as when I once read that a seller dug up every single bit of vegetation in the front yard while the buyer was driving to the house, after doing the final and essential walkthrough and not signing the paper immediately. When the buyer returned after signing all the paperwork, the nicely landscaped yard had turned into what appeared to be a war zone because there was nothing left for them other than to accept the great big old trees. They took all the flowers, all the bushes, everything. You want to know what the house would look like. You want to buy it in the condition that you thought you were buying it in, and you want to make sure and be right before you go sign all the paperwork that it is in the condition you're entitled to be in. Number 3, never waive contingencies. This past spring was the strongest selling season in history, and there were a lot of buyers waiving their contingencies, including a home inspection, an appraisal, and even their lending contingencies. Those contingencies are in place to protect you as the buyer and seller, and if you don't have the money and location, you could lose your earnest money, which can be tens or even thousands of dollars in some cases. I know you want those protections in place, so do not waive your contingencies in order to just proactively win the bid. There's always another house, and there should always be another house that you could live with. So you are not going to give up that much money just to win the bid. Instead, let someone else win the bid by waiving their inspections and waiving their contingencies. And you get the house you've always wanted with the protections you want and need. And before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell to be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Let's return to the video now. Number 4, never buy a cheap flip. There is a huge difference between a good flip and a cheap flip. And if you're unsure and don't know the difference, ask the real estate agent nearest you. Never buy a cheap flip because a cheap flip cuts corners and does things incorrectly. And it will cost you more money since you will be paying for it for the rest of your life until you finish paying for the goods. Number 5, when you're a buyer, you always need someone on your side that should and will represent you and look out for you and your best interests. Never allow the seller's agent or someone you don't know personally to represent you and your faction in the transaction. If you can't get your offer on a house accepted, there should always be another one. Move on to another home you've come across when you are utilizing a different agent. That should be alright. The seller's agent is not actually working for you if they are representing you, because the agent is doing what is known as double dipping, or getting their best interests, especially if this is your first or second property. You are giving up a lot of advice and protection in the off chance that your offer will be approved over someone else's. Just a quick recap. Number 1, do not let the seller handle the repairs. Manage it by yourself instead. Number 2, do not buy a house and sign paperwork without the final walkthrough. Number 3, never waive your contingencies. Number 4, do not buy a cheap flip. And last but definitely not least, number 5, have someone who really is on your side, the loyal one and the one who's going to look out for your best interests. And that's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy similar stuff, check out my other videos. And if you like it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. And I'll see you in the next video.